Greetings folks, and I hope you are suitably shuddering wherever you are in collecting land as we approach Mr. Go Figure's favourite time of the year, Halloween. We're gearing up for all things horror related here at Chateau Go Figure. There will be plenty more horror related content coming on the channel, but to kick off the spooky season, it's another episode of Grail or Fail, featuring none other than the master of the macabre himself, Vincent Price, as he appeared in the 1959 William Castle directed classic House on Haunted Hill, and brought to us courtesy of, in 1/6 scale, courtesy of Infinite Statue. For the uninitiated, Grail or Fail is where we revisit a statue or action figure widely considered to be a classic and find out if it's still worthy of that Grail status today. So, usual format folks, we will get up close and personal with Frederick Lauren, then it's verdict time, and we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end. But before we dive in, I would like to send a huge thank you out to everyone who supported the channel, and please drop a like and hype on this video as it helps other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the action figure, statue reviews, news, previews, and all the other good stuff that we've got coming up. But enough of my ramblings, let's dive in and find out if Infinite Statue's take on Vincent Price is a grail or a fail. Okay folks, let's get uncomfortably close to the man himself, Mr. Vincent Price. Before we do that though, it's worth mentioning at this point, I'm a huge fan of Infinite Statue. I think they produce some fantastic pieces. They have what's described as a strategic partnership with Caustic Plastic, where Infinite Statue focus obviously on the statues and Caustic Plastic mainly on the 1/6 scale action figures. But there is some crossover. Occasionally they do collaborate together, but yeah, I've got a lot of Infinite Statue pieces in the collection and I'm a huge fan. But does Mr. Vincent Price measure up? Well, talking of measurements, let's talk about the proportions. I've got to say, proportions are absolutely on point as far as I can tell. Very tall chap, Vincent Price, and they've captured that beautifully here. They've captured that build as well. So yeah, proportions absolutely nailed on. Let's talk about the base. This could get a video on its own, this base. I really do love this base. Where to begin? Let's start with the front of the base. The base itself is actually made out of polystone, as is the majority of this 6 scale statue. But the front of the base, or rather around the edge of the base, you've got this Art Deco design, which is really nicely painted and weathered. There's sort of grey paint applications to give it that stone effect, and then there's blacks going on in there to pick out the details. Black washes all the way around there, but it's the design that I really like, and this design was actually integrated into the house that the film was actually shot in. It was an Art Deco house, and I love what Infinite Statue have done here, combining this into the base, and it runs all the way around the back as well. On top here, you've got the what looks like a stone floor, once again polystone again. Nicely sculpted and detailed. You've got these bits of rock going on with darker grey sections in between, and I am assuming this is to replicate the cellar that appears in the movie itself, and painted really well, sculpted really well. Around the back here you've got this section of wall. Now I think it was a really great idea including this in the sculpt. It just gives it that little bit extra depth and that little bit more extra dynamism in the display. And it's a solid piece attached directly to the base itself. It doesn't come out, and it's just rocks basically, or bricks rather, but they are just really well sculpted. The detailing on there is exceptional. They're done in polystone, and it really does come off as individual bricks here. Really nicely done. You've got greys and whites in there. There's washes over the top to give it that sort of almost marbled, stippled effect, and it just looks really effective. And then you've got sort of these brown washes going on as well, almost to indicate moisture or mold growing on there. Really do like this base. I think it's a phenomenal piece of work here from Infinite Statue. Also included with this, and not normally what you get with a lot of statues, are several pieces of what we'll call them accessories, for want of a better expression. Now, none of these are actually affixed to the base. They could be moved around. You can place them where you want to have them on the display. If you're wanting to go for a clean look, you can take them out completely, and it's not normally the case with the statue. So I really appreciate what Infinite Statue have done here. Actually making these individual pieces separate. What you've got is this skull. Once again, I believe it's done in polystone. It's got a little bit of heft to it, but just really, really nicely sculpted. Missing the lower jaw area there. Hope the light's catching this, but the sculpt and paint applications are really nice to give it that aged skull look, from the detailing underneath there to the teeth in the top part of the mandible itself, and the sunken eye sockets. Just really nicely done. You also get this, which is an arm, a skeletal arm, and once again, like the skull, it's painted in the same colour as the skull. It's got that sort of almost olive green weathered bone look to it, and it's just very nice. Missing a digit there, missing the end of its little finger, but overall, yeah, very nicely sculpted and very nicely painted. Quite delicate, this piece, so if you're thinking of picking this piece up, I'd say exercise caution. You won't want to snap off any digits. You also get, and it's the gift that keeps giving, this one, swinging round again so we can get these pieces off. You get what I can only assume is a hip bone. Once again, painted in that same sort of almost olive green colour to give it that weathered look, and you also get the leg bone to go with it, the thigh bone to go with it, and yeah, I am assuming it's a hip bone because this actually fits in this slot here on the hip bone section. But once again, same level of sculpt and paint applications on here, really nice. There's darker sections in the end there that have been painted, where it's been painted in the crevice to give it that depth and that realism, and yeah, very nice it is too. And the final removable accessory is the axe. Now, this axe, now I'm not sure whether this is actually plastic or polystone, or it's a resin. It's quite light. It's lighter than the other pieces, so I would say the handle is probably made out of a slightly different material, but it's really nicely sculpted. It looks convincing as wood. The paint applications are great with that wood grain in there to give it that level of depth. And the blade itself at the top, now I am not 100% certain what that is. That could be polystone. I don't think it's plastic because it's cold to the touch, so I'm going to go with polystone on that, but it's really, really nicely sculpted. And if the camera's picking this up, and I'll try and get as close as possible here, you might just be able to make out the jagged edges along the edge of that axe. It's not perfectly smooth, which I think is a great little touch there. But the paint applications to give it that metallic look are really nice. And then, of course, you've got that wonderful blood spatter going on at the end there, and then down the main body of the axe head to give it that extra dimension of gruesomeness. So yeah, those are all the bits and pieces that come with the statue. Let's talk about Vincent himself. So, where to begin with this guy? I'm going to say from the get-go here, what Infinite Statue have done is they've gone for a grey suit here. Now, it's very, very difficult to actually tell what kind of suit Vincent Price was wearing in the movie. It was shot in black and white, so I've done some digging, but it's very, very obscure. No one seems to want to commit to the actual colour of the suit itself. So I think Infinite Statue have taken some license here, and they've gone with a grey pinstripe. It was actually pinstripe in the film, although we don't know the background colour. I think that was the best decision. I really do. I think this grey just works. I think it contrasts against the greys in the base really, really well, and it's sort of a neutral colour, and sort of echoes back to black and white movies. So yeah, I think great choice of colour there. The suit itself is totally screen accurate the way it falls. Loving the creases that they've sculpted in the bottom there. The shoes themselves are screen accurate. Simple pair of Oxfords there with a nice sheen to them and sculpted in laces. The main body of the figure itself actually attaches by one peg, which is in this right foot here, and as you can probably see, if I can swing this round here, he's actually stepping forward ever so slightly on both feet. Well, not on both feet, he's not actually slotted in. There we go. He's in place properly now. But yeah, they've got this right foot actually stepping forward, and I just think this was a great choice of pose here. I'm going to pull back so you can see this. There is movement in there. He's not static. However, it's not an action pose, if that makes sense. So I think the choice of pose that they went for in the sculpt here is exemplary from Infinite Statue. Worth mentioning as well, we've got that blood spatter on the base there, which is coming from the severed head, but we will get to the severed head. Well, no, let's talk about the severed head now. Now, people who've seen the film, and I absolutely love it. I think it's a classic from William Castle there, and I put Vincent Price up there with the likes of Karloff, Lugosi, and Chaney as the real pioneers of modern horror cinema. I think they've done a superb job of capturing him here. But in the actual film itself, at no point did Mr. Vincent Price wander around with a severed head. So once again, I think Infinite Statue have taken a bit of license here with this severed head. It was in the poster art for the films and some of the promotional material that was around at the time, but these were artist renditions. These weren't actual movie stills themselves, and I think it's sort of become iconic, this look for Vincent Price, carrying that severed head in one hand and the candle in the other. So I think yeah, Infinite Statue went with it. As for the severed head itself, it is suitably gruesome, and I'm going to get as close in as I can to this. The eyes are milky. The mouth itself has got wet look paint applications to give it that realism. The blood that's running from the side of the mouth and the nose is that high gloss wet look blood paint that works really well. The sculpting in the hair there, where it goes into the hand, really, really good. And overall, just very, very effective. And of course, adding to that effect is that pool of high gloss red blood underneath the severed head. I don't think I can get the camera underneath here. I will do my level best to try and get underneath here, but that level of gore and gruesomeness is actually continued underneath there where the severing of the head has occurred, if you can catch that there. So yeah, great sculpt, great paint application. Now, worth mentioning at this point as well, now painting, and I've had this conversation with numerous people in the past, painting polystone is not the easiest thing in the world. To get a material look, to get skin tones and textures, it's nowhere as easy as painting plastic. So I think statue makers have a much, much harder job capturing realism when it comes to this kind of piece. It's a lot easier for action figure manufacturers because they're working in plastic, but these polystone materials and so on just take that much more effort in paint applications, and I think the paint applications here are great. Yes, you could argue there's a little bit of a sheen to that suit, but personally, it's not a deal breaker for me. I think they've caught it really well. The jacket itself, really nicely done with that pinstripe. It's the folds and creases are in exactly the right places for the realism. There at the elbows there where he's got a slight bend where he's carrying the severed head. Obviously at the elbow where he's carrying the candle as well. He's showing some cuff here, which is screen accurate as well. And the suit is in keeping with the movie, that single-breasted suit. Moving up, you've obviously got a sculpted in shirt and tie. I would probably say that's, this is maybe sounds like me nitpicking, but if I had to level any complaint, I would say maybe the paint applications there could be a little bit more accurate. But not by much, and I really am splitting hairs there. The candle, he's gripping the candle in the right hand. That's nicely done with wax dripping down the main body of the candle. You've got the flame sculpted in there and given orange coats and yellow coats to give it that realistic look. But onto this head sculpt, probably the most important part with this piece is this head sculpt, and I really do think this is a phenomenal head sculpt. Huge fan of Vincent Price. I could listen to him talk all day. I think he had a wonderful speaking voice, and as I say, a pioneer in horror cinema. Let's bring him a little bit closer into shot here so the light picks this up. We will start with the expression that Infinite have gone with here. I think it's great. I really do. The inscrutability that they've captured here, but also with a slightly macabre, evil edge to it. And I think a lot of that is coming from that raised left eyebrow and slightly wider left eye. Now, when I first saw this, I was, well, it was actually in promotional shots before I bought it. I was a little bit concerned. I thought that maybe looks a little bit goofy, but it's one of these pieces that once you've got it in hand, it absolutely makes sense. That eye works really, really well. He is suitably menacing, suitably inscrutable. There's almost a look of, I know something you don't, and it's very, very unpleasant, and it's making him laugh internally. That's the sort of feeling I get from this head sculpt. But the paint applications to replicate the flesh tones are great. The sculpt is absolutely on point, 100% Vincent Price all over that. And as I say, I think a brave choice of sculpt design. The moustache is beautifully done, that pencil moustache with that feathering in there. The individual strands are picked out. The intricacy of the paint application there is great. You've got imperfections going on in the skin there. On the left-hand cheek there, and these are screen accurate. You've got a couple of moles going on there, on the side of the nose there, if the light's catching this. There's a slight hue to the cheeks and creasing in the forehead area, and the hair itself. The style, absolutely nailed on. Let's get him in profile so you can see that hair. Just really, really well done. As I say, not the easiest thing in the world to paint polystone, but I think Infinite have done a very, very good job here. That style of the hair is perfect. Individual strands are picked out there, and it flows down into the nape of the neck. The head sculpt itself is magnetically attached to the body, and yeah, is very, very secure indeed. So there you have it, folks. That is Infinite Statues' take on Vincent Price from House on Haunted Hill. But is this guy a grail or a fail? I think what we need to do is go in for a final verdict and put this one to rest permanently. Okay, folks, so it's verdict time on Infinite Statues' take on Vincent Price from House on Haunted Hill. Let's start with the good stuff. That base, absolutely phenomenal. One of my personal favourite 1/6 scale statue bases of all time. I think it's subtle, yet expressive. I think it captures the atmosphere of the movie perfectly. Love those echoes of the Art Deco house that the movie was filmed in. The accessories, to find posable, movable accessories with a 1/6 scale statue is a great addition, and they're done really, really well, from the skull to the hip bone to the arm and the axe. All really well done, and the paint applications on that base as well are great, and it just works so well with the statue itself. It captures the spirit of the film beautifully. The actual statue itself, I think, is amazing. Proportions are nailed on. The head sculpt, absolutely excellent, 100% recognizable as Vincent Price, and just a really, really great job. And that choice of expression, as I mentioned before, really expressive, and it just works so well with this particular piece. And this makes it one of my personal favorite 1/6 scale statues of all time. Downsides, well, you could argue that there's a tad of a sheen to the paint application, but we spoke about paint applications, and we know that painting directly onto polystone or resin or anything like that is that much harder. And I still think they've done a phenomenal job here, from the flesh tones on the head sculpt itself and the paint applications for the hair. I love the choice of pose. I think the pose here was just a chef's kiss to Infinite Statue here, to take that iconic image from the movie poster itself, add a little bit of movement in there to give it that sense of motion, but not too much. Just works incredibly well, and overall I think as a 1/6 scale representation of Vincent Price, I absolutely love it, wouldn't part with it, and it takes pride of place in my collection. But is it a grail? That's the big question. Well, I'm biased, obviously, because of my enthusiasm for the source material, for the actor, and for Infinite Statue as well. In my opinion, 100% this is a grail. Nailed on. If you are a fan of Vincent Price, if you are a fan of classic horror, if you're a fan of 1/6 scale figures or statues, this is a no-brainer in my opinion, and absolutely 100% a grail. So there you have it, folks. Probably as well, it will be fantastic to see their partners in crime, Caustic Plastic, tackle Vincent Price in 1/6 scale. We've had Lon Chaney, we've had Phantom of the Opera, London After Midnight, we're getting Frankenstein, they've done Bela Lugosi and Nosferatu. It would be really, really nice to see them have a go at Vincent Price as well. So there you have it, folks. Yeah, bona fide Grail for Vincent Price. But what are your thoughts on this particular piece? Do you have it in your collection? Do you think it's a Grail? Is it something that you're thinking of picking up or you've already got? What are your thoughts on Infinite Statue? What are your thoughts on Vincent Price? Or his movies? Anything at all. Nothing is off menu. So please drop a comment in the comment section below. I will be fascinated to hear your take on this piece. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, in keeping with the Halloween theme, we're going to have a lot more Grail or Fails around horror stuff. We've got more action figures. We're going to be setting the scene for Halloween with the content coming up on the channel. And also, we've got new reviews coming in all the time. We've got, for action figures, we've got stuff from Hot Toys, Susu Toys, Present Toys, Caustic Plastic, from Exo 6, Iconic Studios, the list goes on. We've got more retro reviews, we've got more showcases, more tours, more news, more previews. The list is endless, as I say. So, as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the good stuff. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is from the Grail that is Infinite Statue's take on Vincent Price and myself, a massive thank you for watching as always. And until next time on the channel, take care of yourselves. Happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.